or Gete. After receiving Benin Republic's President Boni Yayi at the presidential villa, Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan flew off to visit his Malian counterpart. For the first time since losing the March 28 presidential election, President Goodluck Jonathan has made an official trip out of the country. On Friday, he visited Ibrahim Keita, his Malian counterpart in Bamako, capital of the country. In 2012, Jonathan played a prominent role in the resolution of the crisis in the landlocked West African country following a military coup. Nigeria sent 1,200 troops to assist Mali in dislodging insurgents and restoring democratic rule. Although Jonathan has met with leaders of different foreign countries after the poll, he has not left the shores of Nigeria. President-elect Muhammadu Buhari has cautioned his supporters who are planning to either trek or hedge a ride to Abuja to meet him to desist from such acts. This, according to him, is because May 29 is just a few days away and there is need for him to concentrate on the task of fixing the nation. Buhari said this in a message to a group of 11 youths who rode on bicycle from his hometown Douara to Abuja to meet him. The president-elect's message was delivered by one of his aides.
Somebody that has nothing to do. They try to innovate whatever it is they do to celebrate. It started with celebrating the victory at their hometown. And I think once somebody started this idea of trekking from Lagos to here, quite a number of youth also emulated him. So to me, it's not something wrong with the youth. It shows to us clearly that the youth have nothing to do. And it also shows that they are really passionate about the new incoming administration. And I do hope that, like the MB said, this should be sufficient. They have shown their love and they have shown their eagerness for the new government to come in. Let them now please stop this and embark on something new. I hope that, they will start, rains are here now. They have a lot of work to do. We'll go back to the farm and start doing something that is more positive. Otherwise, this will continue to be endless.
Members of the All Progressives Congress in the Kaduna State House of Assembly has threatened to impeach Governor Maktayero if he continues what they described as last-minute looting. The APC lawmakers specifically accused the governor of attempting to disperse Shell P funds in a reckless manner. They issued the impeachment threat at an emergency news conference in Kaduna. Amina Inebi has more in this report presented from our studios.
It's a few weeks to the end of the tenure of the Kaduna governor, but the APC caucus of the House of Assembly is prepared to ease him out of office before May the 29th. Led by Deputy Minority Leader Aminu Shagari, the lawmakers claim that the governor is bent on indulging in last-minute looting and squandering of public funds. They are querying why the outgoing government is in a rush to appropriate and disburse Shopee funds for the 23 local government areas that were unused.
A resolution was made during an executive session that the funds should not be appropriated and disbursed. We, the concerned members of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, hereby wish to state categorically that we are not a party and will not be a party to such financial recklessness.
The lawmakers are insisting that the funds cannot be disbursed within the last 2 weeks of the life of the present administration.
Our main concern is that the funds should remain, not that we want the funds to remain because we don't want people to enjoy the Shopee funds, but we want the due process, diligent due process to be followed.
The crux of the matter is a request for appropriation of about 2.7 billion naira Shopee funds that the state government submitted to the legislators. APC lawmakers view the request as an attempt to indulge in financial recklessness and are bent on frustrating the demand. But it remains to be seen if they can muster enough support in the PDP-dominated House to commence impeachment proceedings against Governor Yero.
The outgoing government has reeled out a long list of achievements in the education sector, which it insists the incoming administration can easily build on. It lists the establishment of 12 federal universities, 20 private universities, and over 100 Almajiri schools in North Nigeria. Some of the good work it would be handing over to the Buhari administration. Education Minister Ibrahim Shekarau maintained that the Jonathan administration is a living legacy of a stable education sector for the incoming president. He spoke at a forum where he outlined the achievement of the outgoing government from 2011 to 2015.
It is a yearly event among ministries and government agencies to reel out the achievements of the outgoing year. But this occasion is for the scorecard of Jonathan administration in the education sector between 2011 and 2015. Education Minister Ibrahim Shekarau noted that federal government provided enough funds through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund for projects in various institutions of higher learning in the country. He said 4 new polytechnic built in the country cost the government 15 billion naira.
Our 2014 annual report will also provide you with information on some of the key activities in the sector. I want to use this opportunity to specially appreciate our honorable commissioners of education from all the 36 states of the Federation and the Education Secretary of the Federal Capital Territory. They have been worthy partners of the Federal Ministry in the drive to reposition the education sector.
Stakeholders agreed that the achievements recorded in the sector should be sustained. They also demanded higher budgetary provision for better performance.
We, as the State Commissioners for Education, have enjoyed very good working relationship with the Federal Ministry of Education. For a few of us who have been serving in the last 7 years, we have seen a tremendous improvement towards bringing the state on board on policy development and policy implementation in the education sector.
We will use the opportunity to see how we can advise executive on how to improve, and for us in the National Assembly to look at legislative requirement from all the sector to ensure that we give in the best legislation that will empower the ministry to continue to do the best for the sector and for Nigerian students.
The outgoing government is insisting that on the strength of its achievements in the last 4 years, the incoming government will be inheriting a stable education sector.
Government officials have taken journalists on a guided tour of the office of the Education Ministry, which was on Thursday gutted by fire. This, they admit, is to dispel claims in some sections of the media that the fire began from the accounts section of the ministry. The tour, however, showed that aside from the Education Ministry, a part of the office of the Ministry of Police Affairs, also located on the 5th floor, was affected.
Say this is the cause, but all we know, it emanated from an electrical cable. We only saw smoke coming out from a trunket of the cables, where all the cables transmitting light in this building are warehoused. That is where the fire started on the 6th floor.
Certainly, we share the same building, and he has already explained to you that the fire started from the cable box, that is the cable route. So the fire followed the cable routing up to the 11th floor. We are on the 11th floor. It's natural.
So how many offices were affected?
No office was affected.
Mate, a town in the north of Borno, again fell into the hands of a Boko Haram and terrorists on Friday, security sources have revealed. One of the sources explained that the terrorists who fled from Sambiso forest camp of the outlawed sect and their other strongholds across Borno state had regrouped in Mate, a town north of Maiduguri, the state capital. The Deputy Governor of Borno State, Zana Mustafa, also confirmed the recapture of Mate by Boko Haram terrorists during a press conference in Maiduguri on Friday. Mustafa also alleged that 600 women and girls have been dispatched by Boko Haram as suicide bombers with the aim of causing multiple explosions in Maiduguri. The Deputy Governor, who had to cut short his official engagement in Abuja to attend to the situation in the state, said residents must be patient with the security agencies in spite of the attendant hardships caused by the dusk to dawn curfew. It's CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a break. Stay with us.
Women share the most amazing thoughts on national issues, and they do it passionately.
For most men that are educated, that are exposed, will see nothing to it.
The population and the level of poverty made me cry. No infrastructural development whatsoever. And you tell me Lagos is working?
That was an accident. And it was a one-off thing. Other than that, there has never been any situation in Nigeria where a Nigerian attacked anybody just because of where they came from.
Sharing the adorable word of women in politics every week, only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. For more information on CoreTV News, you can reach us on our social media platforms on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTVNews, on Twitter at CoreTVNewsNG, and on YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTVNews. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned a suspected female hacker before a Lagos High Court on a 4-count charge bordering on conspiracy and obtaining money under false pretenses. 22-year-old Mary Ozoala was said to have collaborated with 3 others to hack into the email account of one Ronke Okewale and fraudulently defrauded her of 2 million naira. When the charge was read to the defendant in court, she pleaded not guilty. Prosecution counsel Oluwatoyin Olowoduni subsequently pushed for the court to fix a date for trial and also to remand the defendant in prison custody pending trial. But the defense counsel Chibuzo Nwakobi prayed the court for a short adjournment to allow him file an application for bail for his client. Trial Judge Justice Kudirat Jose subsequently ordered that the defendant be remanded in EFCC custody pending the determination of the bail application. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has paraded 2 men who allegedly duped a number of job seekers with the claim of getting them employed as civil defense personnel. The men were said to have made about 6 million naira from the jobs come in Abuja alone before the arrest, but the suspects insist that they had nothing to do with job racketeering. Pao Samuel has more.
This is Ibrahim Usman. He is 35 years old. He is one of the suspects arrested for job racketeering in Abuja. Until now, he works with a Sharia court in Gwagwalada, Abuja.
Beg him for the civil defense work. Then he said he will assist me with my people. I call my people from village. Everybody should come out. I see one opportunities on the ground. Then I start to call them. They start to bring the money. Some 100, some 200, some 80. They start to put the money. I send money over 6 million to him. Then he carried all of us. He allowed me to call my people from my village. All of them went to Mina, do the documentation there. From there, one of my brother carried the letter, went to Gwagwalada command to go and confirm whether the letter is true.
Security operatives say he had made up to 6 million naira from job seekers keen on joining the NSC-DC.
And decided to set up their own employment racketeering by forging my signature to give employment to some people. The sum of 6 million has been collected by them, and they even do documentation. All these evidences were found in their house on the tip-off of a good Samaritan who gave us the information. They will be prosecuted accordingly. But for the purpose of the public to know that civil defense will not compromise, we have no reason at all to put burden on the innocent citizens of this country in the name of recruitment.
They allegedly took their victims to Mina to collect appointment letters before they were arrested. The suspects, however, did not admit to the crime they were accused of.
I never have any hand about this business. I just stay with this Ibrahim Usman house before they come search his own house. I was the person that they met in at home before they carry me.
In spite of their denial, the NSCDC plans to charge the suspects to appear in court next week. Pao Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
3 women, including a female lecturer of Ekiti State University, Shade Alade, were kidnapped in Ekiti State on Friday afternoon by unknown gunmen. The women were kidnapped with their husbands and an unspecified number of children along Igbole-Igbosim Road while traveling in a Toyota RAV4 sports utility vehicle to Ibadan, Oyo State, for a wedding. It was gathered that their captors later dropped the men and the children while the women were driven away in the car after collecting the phones and other valuables from the victims. The husbands of the children were said to be wailing profusely until some sympathizers came to their aid. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Alberto Adeyemi, confirmed the incident. The whereabouts of the women remain unknown, while contact had not yet been established with the families as at press time. Meanwhile, the Ekiti State Governor, Ayodele Fayose, has written the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, calling for his intervention to stem the spate of kidnappings that had hit the state in the last few weeks. In the May 15th letter signed by the governor, he requested the IG's special intervention in removing the fear the people of the state were experiencing following numerous cases of abductions of innocent people. The Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Isaac Adewole, has reacted to reports concerning the death of a 200-level student of the institution who died during a football match last week. Addressing journalists at the state chambers of the institution, the VC disclosed that they could not perform an autopsy to ascertain the cause of the death, as the parent of the deceased, Mayowa Alaron, demanded for the corpse, which has since been buried according to Islamic rites. The VC then promised that series of measures would be taken to further safeguard lives of students on campus. He announced the establishment of student health service within the hostels, where the management of the University of Ibadan will commence annual medical check of all students and staff of the institution. And they will audit that the entire university community was sad over the death of Mayowa Alaron, but was a 200-level student of health education. The professor charged the students not to incubate complaints for days, but report any unusual observation about their health status instantly to avoid unnecessary loss of productive minds. The feud between the management and staff of the Federal Medical Center Owerri took a new dimension when hundreds of staff of the medical center took to the streets of Owerri, the Imo State capital. The protesting staff, who gathered under three different unions: National Union of Allied and Health Professionals, Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, and National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives FMC chapter, alleged that the personnel funds released by the Accountant General of the Federation in 2014 for the 2013-2014 promotion rehearsals meant for workers' welfare was veered into capital project, and the center, knowing full well that retirement is a serious offense, that this is a serious offense in the Nigerian Constitution. They also accused her of victimizing staff who did not support her proposal of privatizing some departments and units in the center. While explaining to newsmen the cause of their grievances, the chairman of the FMC chapter of the National Union of Allied and Health Professional, Clifford Ezeuku, accused the medical director of financing of financial misappropriation, victimization, high-handedness, and non-payment of staff promotion rehearsals, which had been approved by the federal government. They also advised that she resigns her job honorably, adding that as at time of the protest, members of the various unions have embarked on an indefinite strike until the federal government intervenes in the matter. It's CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take another break. Stay with us.
Every day of the week will bring to you divergent views on news making the headline.
If people who commit crime are being rewarded with national honors, with national appointments, then where are we going in this country?
It's not about whether it was Jonathan or whether you are going to have a Buhari. It's the kind of political structure we run.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
We are talking about a Buhari who at 41 became head of state. The man did not exhibit the attribute of somebody that is strong intellectually.
So, comrade, you're saying if you become governor, you're going to bring back Okada?
Of course.
You will bring back the market women on the streets?
Excuse me, don't put words in my mouth.
On Core Digest, we bring all of this to the court of public opinion, where you are the judge.
An Egypt court has sentenced former President Mohamed Morsi to death for a mass prison break in 2011. The court ruled on Saturday that the sentencing of Morsi and 105 others will be referred to the Grand Mufti, the highest religious authority in Egypt, for confirmation. Many of those sentenced were tried in absentia, including Yusuf al-Qaradawi, an influential Islamic scholar based in Qatar. The court will pronounce its final decision on June 2nd. Morsi, who was overthrown by the army in 2013 amid mass protests against his government, was spared to death, a sentence in the first of two trials that concluded on Thursday, in which the court advised death sentences for 16 defendants on espionage charges. A jury has sentenced Boston bomber Zoka Saranath to death penalty. After 14 hours of deliberation, the jury of 5 men and 7 women came to its decision. 3 people were killed and 260 were injured when he and his brother placed bombs at the finish line of the Boston Marathon in 2013. Jurors made findings on 12 factors that could support the death penalty and 21 mitigating factors that defense said support the decision of life imprisonment. 7 of 30 charges, 21 was convicted of allow the possibility of the death penalty. Islamic State militants have seized control of the main government building in the western Iraqi city of Ramadi. They set off a coordinated series of as many as 6 car bombs outside the compound that houses the city's main police station and governor's office. At least 50 security personnel were reported to have taken hostage. Ramadi is the capital of Iraq's largest province, Anbar, and has been heavily fought over by ISIS and Iraqi troops. Well, that's our news for this hour. Thank you for watching. Please join us again. I am Geft or Gete.